think I may have just discovered some corruption within the Texas government. So if you don't already know, back in October, Governor Greg Abbott appointed John B. Scott to be Texas's Secretary of State, which means that he would be overseeing the elections that are happening in the state of Texas. And this was already a controversial pick because John B. Scott was the attorney who represented Donald Trump in the case in Pennsylvania that sought to challenge the election results from 2020. Yeah, that's the man in charge of elections in Texas now. Come to my attention recently that Mr. Scott is allegedly purposefully stifling people from registering to vote in the state of Texas by not giving them the amount of voter registration forms they have ordered. And in the state of Texas, you have to register to vote using a paper registration form. So if this were to be true and he was purposefully stifling people from registering to vote, he would actively be partaking in voter suppression. So I decided to do a little bit of digging into John B. Scott to see who he is and where did he come from. So this is on the official Texas Secretary of State website, and there are a couple of really interesting things on here I want to point out. First of all, we know that he is a well-documented attorney, but second of all, he used to be the Deputy Attorney General of Civil Litigation for then Attorney General Greg Abbott, which means that he has very close professional ties to Greg Abbott before he was even governor. And after that, he was appointed the first COO of the Health and Human Services Commission, where he would oversee its 56,000 employees and its over $50 billion biannual budget. So what we've learned from this biography is not only does he have a pre-existing professional relationship with Greg Abbott, but he also has ties to the healthcare industry. Big money in the healthcare industry. On here it also says that he's worked with numerous global companies to help them expand their footprint in Texas and contribute to economic development. So what I'm getting from this is big corporations and big healthcare. So what are the odds that John B. Scott, recently appointed Texas Secretary of State, is registered lobbyist John B. Scott? If you don't know what a lobbyist is someone who is paid by people to persuade public policy and government officials. Basically, it's their job to convince government officials and politicians to make laws in their favor. And people pay a lot of money to these people to do those things. In fact, if registered lobbyist John B. Scott is to be the same John B. Scott as the Texas Secretary of State, since 2015 he's made anywhere from $3.9 to $6.4 million. And his client list? Energy companies, hospitals, healthcare companies, and pro-life organizations. Deltoid Consulting is the one that interests me. The consulting firm has allegedly given anywhere from $500,000 to nearly $1 million to John B. Scott, but they've also given a pretty hefty sum of money to Daniel Hodge, who was once Greg Abbott's chief of staff. But hey, I could be wrong. This is all public information. You can look it up yourself.